tuned into the Richard Brown Show on WCOM LP, Chapel Hill and Carborough, 103.5 FM. I am Richard Brown, and this is the Richard Brown Show. So today what we're going to do, we're going to be talking about houses. But before we get into houses, how you buy a house, and how you finance a house, with my three guests, I want to talk just a second about what the Richard Brown Show is and how I am moving forward with this show. So the show was born out of what I believe is a lack of positive black images in the media. And so what I aim to do is to provide guests, provide shows, provide ideas and thoughts about positive images, positive things that are happening in the African American community and in the world community. And so today what we want to do is we want to talk about the really great programs that Success Realty has, talk about how they have acquired the different properties, and then get my guests to kind of talk about how they actually got into real estate to begin with. You know, it's always an interesting process, at least for me, to find out how people got to where they are and what they're doing. So let me start right here on my left. It'll probably be your right, and get Latrice to talk about herself, and then we'll move right down the line, specifically about who you are, and then we'll talk about success.
Thank you. Good morning, Richard. My name is Latrice McFadden. I'm with Success Realty, and I have been in the real estate industry going on 14 years this year. And my husband actually introduced me to real estate, and it was one of the best things that he could have done. It's been an excellent experience, and I just joined the Success Realty team last year. It'll be a year in March, and it was perfect timing. I've always worked independently, but I thought it was a good opportunity to work with a team and work with a family-oriented company. So, and because Success Realty, one of the things that they focus on is first-time home buyers, so that was also attractive to me. So, been in real estate, love working with the first-time home buyer community, and it's been a great pleasure to work with Success Realty over the last year.
Okay.
Good morning, I'm Karen Miles. Thank you for having us, Richard. I have been in the real estate industry about 18 years now, and I've also, like Latrice, focused on that first-time homebuyer niche throughout my entire career. That's also what made Success a perfect fit. And I was inspired by my husband, who was very supportive, and also a previous supervisor that I reported to. I worked at a local insurance company, and he saw that I had an ability to sell. So one day he just suggested, he said, since you love selling and you're so good at it, why don't you get into an arena where you're selling bigger ticket items? So he kind of put the real estate bug in the back of my mind. So now I know it's perfect for me, and I can't imagine doing anything else. An industry I've really grown to love and respect.
Okay. My name is Melvin Watson. How I got into real estate is I decided to take the class because I knew at some point in time I was going to want to buy a house down the road. Wasn't what I thought I'd be doing in life. I thought I was going to be an investment banker along those lines, but I took the real estate class based on a kind of the urging from a college friend who was taking the class. Decided to take it and thought it'd be something that I'd be interested in trying, and since 1997, this is what I've been doing. So as Latrice and Karen both have said, I love the industry. Every day is different, so it's a great thing getting to help. That final thing of helping people get into a house, there's no feeling like it.
Absolutely.
So true, so true. So let's talk about a little bit about Success Realty, the company, and the specific program. And just as a preview, well, you all started to fold or build a relationship with the HUD homes about a year ago, or how long has it been?
Well, the HUD process, us becoming the local listing broker for the area, is pretty much brand new. It's only a few months old. That process started in September, August maybe? Mm-hmm. It was like August, and we heard around late September, October, somewhere in that time frame, that we had been selected to be one of the local listing brokers for this area, covering 10 counties here in the area, which has been a tremendous boost to our business. But yeah, that's how we got into that. So we're learning the new process that they have. They've transitioned from the old system. So it's really nice to not have been in that old system, and we're at the forefront of everything new that's going on with HUD right now. So that's really great.
So part of what I'm hearing you say is the mistakes that you make, people be like, oh, okay, we can fix that.
Right. Well, some of the stuff we're finding that they don't know until we kind of do it, and then we come back to this and
say, that looks good. Oh no, that's not
working too well.
Right. So they're willing to work, and I mean that's important. Yes. As opposed to saying, "Oh, you're not doing it right," because they're comparing you to somebody else. It's like, no, let's try it this way instead. You'd be like, okay. So let's talk. I want to make sure that we talk about Success as a firm, and kind of, Latrice has mentioned that it's a family-oriented firm. You all have mentioned that you work with first-time home buyers. I guess, in general, what in your mind sets Success apart from, say, any other, ABC real estate firm?
Well, I'll start. I'll say, as I mentioned, I've been in the business for 14 years and had my own company, pretty much worked all by myself for that first 12 years of being in the business. But what I found with Success Realty is that even though I wasn't working for the company, I could always call on the broker in charge, Whitney Rich, and any of the realtors there and ask questions and get that support. So Success celebrated its 10th anniversary last year. Mm-hmm. And I always saw, we had a lender that we work with in common, and she always talked about how similar our practices were and trying to get me to work with Success Realty. So just the commitment to the client, and that's always very key for me. I will even sacrifice myself to make sure that the client's best interest is held up front. So that is one of the things that I find at Success. It's no backbiting. It's working together for the good of the company, the good of each individual realtor, as well as the good of the client.
And I'm the newest one of the Success team.
Yeah, how long you been?
Just over a month now, Richard.
You brand spanking.
Yeah, at the end of January. And one of the things that attracted me to Success is there is a wonderful group of very dynamic professionals. The level of professionalism. Success has built a very solid reputation that is really respected among our colleagues in the real estate community, and I do admire that. They come together with great ideas, positive energy. Just a great group to be a part of. I feel right at home.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of history on that. We're going to leave that alone. Because, we're going to stay on the positive side. In the introduction that I mentioned, positive images in the African American community. All of what you just said there's a whole lot of other stuff going on. We're going to leave it right there.
Okay.
Just going to leave it on the table. Melvin, talk about, so you've been with Success the longest.
Yes. There from the very beginning, sitting at I can't remember the street address, but on Fayetteville Street over in Durham. That idea it came out late one evening. Mm-hmm. Why not, open our own company? I've started a small company, went to a large company, and kind of saw pros and cons out of both of them. Mm-hmm. And was kind of at that point of, neither one of them were offering me exactly what I wanted or what I thought a company should be. And at that time, we just happened to be together one night. Mm-hmm. And the talk just started going, and it was just like, why not? And then from there, the ball just started rolling and kept rolling. So 10 years later.
Yeah, now let's talk about, now I know you all service all clients, but my sense is that some of the people, a good deal of the people that you do serve are African American. So let's talk about how you serve the African American community and how that might be different than, say, maybe a white realtor or somebody else as it relates to talking to the client. I know in my past experience, I remember some white realtors didn't understand some of the special circumstances that African American clients might have. So if you could talk a little bit about that, at least from your own personal experience in selling real estate, can be with Success or however where that may lie. Good story.
Okay. I would say there's definitely I think a lot of it's personality based, as you say, cultural ideals, things that people have. That sometimes it does seem like they're more, it's a comfort level that you do find. But being in the business since 1997, I've worked with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's come down to, can you help me get that house? And you know what you're doing.
Right.
But in a lot of cases, like I said, with those first-time home buyers, I think when we get a lot of the African Americans who are first-time home buyers, is that they're drawn to us because we know about all the programs that are out there for the first-time buyers. In some cases, we find some agents don't know about these programs, or they don't want to take the time to use these programs because in some cases it's a little bit more time consuming.
Right.
The process takes longer. There's a little bit more paperwork, a little bit more hand holding. And in some cases, some agents don't want, that's not their market, not what they want to do.
And I find that, I hear you, but that's 8 years ago. In this particular market, I'd be hard pressed to say as a real estate agent, well, I don't want to deal with that. Because at this point, you need to put whoever you can in the house, would be, from the outside looking in.
And we're starting to see that. We're starting to see that more people are trying to get into these classes, whereas before, when, say, like the city of Durham was offering classes to say, hey, you need to come down and get this training, I think some people said, hey, it's not my market, I don't need that. Especially
beneath me.
Right. Especially one of the things I'm hearing now with us having this contract, with the HUD contract, is there's so many agents who never sold a home. Never.
Mm-hmm.
Totally like never had to do it. It's like.
And so yeah, that's a whole nother. I want to put a pin in that because we do want to go back to the process specifically of the HUD homes. But I want to spend some time talking about just that relationship and walking through that relationship. Karen, maybe you can talk a little bit walking through that relationship, and it doesn't have to be a first-time home buyer, but just the process of buying a house. Because there's still people, just as you said, first-time home buyers who don't know.
Absolutely. From the beginning, when a consumer expresses an interest and they come to Success Realty, once they knock on our door or pick up the phone and give us a call, we want to first help them identify the best loan program, because without financing, honestly, they're just window shopping. So the first step is to gather the necessary information and to get it over in front of someone who can help us determine if they're mortgage ready. So that's the first part of the process.
Mortgage ready.
Yeah, and then after we find out, they may go in different pools. There may be some who need a little bit of credit counseling, and we have a great stable relationship with some who will give them free credit counseling until they are ready to purchase.
Who's that? Who's out there who can help them with credit counseling if they got dings in their credit or credit score or?
SESI is one of the organizations
Okay.
we have a good relationship with, who are very responsive and very good at that.
Okay.
And NACA also provides some credit counseling to their home buyers once they enter the NACA program. So once we determine that they can purchase, once they've had the credit counseling, if they need any work to prepare them, we'll begin just looking at properties. Once we determine what's not the maximum for which they can qualify, but once we determine what is comfortably affordable, we put them in our car and we begin to try to find the ideal home.
Now let's talk about that, because that's a really good point. There are some realtors who say, hey, this is the maximum you can afford, this is where I'm going to show you. Talk about the difference. What you said is what do you feel comfortable with? Talk about that difference, because that could be the difference between somebody being in the house for 30 years, somebody being in the house for a year.
Absolutely, you hit it right on the head with that. We don't want them to just buy the biggest, most expensive house they can qualify for. We need to know, based on all your other commitments and your lifestyle, what is truly affordable every year, because nothing is more disheartening for a realtor like us who care to see our homeowners be foreclosed on and be put out of their homes. So we do want to know what is manageable, and that's what we base our price point on when we begin to search for homes.
Okay. So you search for homes, Latrice. Why don't you pick up from there and talk about the last, in running track, there's the first part of the race, there's the middle part of the race, but then you got to bring it home. So bring it home for me.
Okay, I'll just add to what Karen was saying. I stress to first-time homebuyers that when you're going from the renting